Dr. Mark Fundino here with Davidson Chiropractic. Hope everybody's doing well. Good to see you again. Today I want to talk to you about back braces, and there's three main types of back braces that you might see. There's this type. This is a lifting, weight belt. Sometimes they're made of plastic or nylon. Other times they're made of leather. They can be real thick. This has a little bit of thickness. It's somewhere in the middle, but you would wear this around the belly, basically supporting the lumbar spine. But I would wear this more for maximal lifts, whether I was deadlifting or squatting. Then there's another back brace, a lumbar support, similar, but it's going to be thinner, made of neoprene, and you'll see this commonly in people that work at Home Depot. You'll see them walking around with these in the event that they're going to be lifting something up off the ground. Also you'll see people sometimes who play golf or tennis might wear those types of belts to give them a sense of support. And then there's an SI belt. Basically, an SI belt is a belt that's going to not go on the lumbar spine at all. It's going to be more around the hips. And these are for, a lot of times you'll see pregnant females wear these because the SI joints tend to be strained as they're getting ready to carry a baby, and they're they get more irritated, those SI joints, that is. So what is it? I mean, should you wear a back belt or a lumbar support belt on a daily basis doing different activities? I've had this question come up recently with one of my clients. So I did a little investigating to look into this because I was pretty much said, no, do not wear a back brace on a daily basis. But let me tell you a little bit of what I found in some research. First of all, back braces were supposedly supposed to reduce forces on the spine, potentially increase intra-abdominal pressure, also remind the worker or the client, the person, to lift correctly. Also, we hope to see a stiffening of the spine with wearing a back brace. Also, reduce the bending motions that are placed on the spine. And lastly, decrease injuries in the workplace by wearing a back support belt. And when I looked at the research, what I found is actually none of those, for the most part, were true. There was not enough research out there that said those things were true, except for limiting certain types of motions of the spine, and not so much bending forward or back, because in the event of picking something up, it was not going to really do much to stiffen or reduce that range of motion, but it did help potentially in the rotational type motion or their side bending type of movement. Even if it does increase intra-abdominal pressure with lifting something heavy off the ground, there was no evidence that it was going to prevent any type of injury in doing so. So to just blankly wear a lumbar support brace just to prevent injury, it looks like it's not the way to go. But with a caveat on that is, how about a patient that has an injury, is in a lot of pain, has got dysfunction, is not able to play golf, tennis, or lift their grandchild, or do things around the house like gardening? Does a lumbar support belt come into place? And I think from what I saw in the literature and also from my clinical practice is, yes, there is a value in wearing a back brace when returning from injury. Number one, if a patient has a lot of pain and we can't get them to do any type of aerobic activity, such as walking, we know walking is going to be good at reducing back pain. So if I have a patient in a lot of pain, say 5 or 6 on a 10-point scale, and they're not able to walk, and we put some type of lumbar support belt on them, to the point, once we brace them, their pain goes from a 5 or 6 to a 3, and now they can get up, and we can get that patient walking for 20 minutes. This can do a lot to help their back pain, because we know that aerobic activity can greatly help patients with some type of spinal pain. The second instance I'd use a back brace is if I want to start conditioning my patient or client in some core or midline stability work. If we put that back brace on, or before the back brace, we have them lay on the table to perform some exercise, whether it be just abdominal bracing with leg lifts or abdominal bracing with some type of bridge, and they're in just too much pain before we brace them. But we put a brace on, and they're more comfortable in that position lying on the table, and then we tell them to engage the midline and perform the movement, whatever that desired movement is. A lot of the exercises we give, there's not a lot of spinal motion, so we know we're not causing any damage with the spine because we're not causing a lot of twisting. But if we can get them to start working and using certain muscles, I think that's a win. That's a win. That's where a belt back brace may come in handy. And finally, getting the patient to return to some type of sport or activity or some type of yard work or enjoyable activity they like to engage in. So in this case, I had a patient that wanted to play tennis, and he was getting back in. His tissues are still healing, those muscles, those discs, those ligaments, and he was about 90% improved. I said, you know what? If that back brace warms up those tissues, gets you warm, and you're able to get out there, number one, during your warm-up, when you're swinging the tennis racket, without a belt, you're not feeling any pain, then you want to put that brace on for some reassurance or encouragement, just for that hour that you're playing. I'm okay with that. But as you continue to perform your spinal exercise over the next 2-3 months, I would encourage that person to possibly put this back down and put it on the sideline and try to use his own muscles, because those muscles are going to take 2 or 3 months to really heal and remodel. So if it gives the patient confidence to get back into activity, I think that's a wise endeavor to wear temporarily. But over time, I would slowly kind of put it to the sideline and just rely on my own muscular endurance to handle the load. If you guys have any questions or any comments about this video, by all means, you can reply to the email that we sent out to our patients and our client members. Otherwise, I look forward to speaking with you in the future, and I love when you guys have questions because it definitely gives me something that we can discuss on a weekly basis. Have a good day.